Hi, welcome to a Hyperroll TFT match where I'm going to actually try to put together my own little build just from the little bit that I have played of this season so far. Now, I did this on the very last night of the PBE, so some things may have changed a little bit with the release. They seem to do that a lot, but I had been reading the characters' abilities, looking at the synergies, and thought I came up with something that could work, so I really wanted to test it and decided to force it here. And I'll take you through what I was thinking, what I was doing, and what my plan was. So initially the plan is to make the strongest Olaf possible. I get the sense that with the right characters around him, Olaf can carry a match if you set everything up right properly. In the early game, this is not very strong, as you can see. The Sentinel buff just doesn't seem to be a good one right off the bat. It doesn't have too much power to it unless you have everything potentially that you need at 2-star silver, but just on its own, it didn't feel that strong. But I felt as the game would go on, the way I was going to put this together, it was going to get stronger and stronger. Once Olaf is 2-starred with an item on, it was pretty good. And the Olaf items I was looking at creating were the Runan's Hurricane, a Bloodthirster, and then hope I get an awesome Radiant item. So I want to talk for a second about why Olaf. Olaf's passive, he doesn't have mana, so he doesn't have an ult, but his passive is that he increases attack speed for every 1% of his health missing, and he heals himself per attack. So the more health he loses, the faster he attacks. But then, of course, the faster he attacks, the faster he heals, which slows down his attack speed. Now, one might think Rageblade would be a good item, and it was on Olaf in previous sets. However, given this new mechanic, I feel like the Rageblade would fall off because as his attack speed gets faster and faster, it's ultimately going to cap at 5, and you will lose any advantage you're gaining from his additional attacks. This is why I opted as one of my main items for the Bloodthirster. That shield that a character gains when they fall below 40% health will help Olaf attack really fast and gain back health quickly. Now we're on to the Radiant item. It's not exactly what I was looking for, but the Luminous Deathblade is going to be the way to go. That's going to make him strong. I've picked up an additional Olaf, so now I have 2 stars, 2 silvers. I need 3 more Olafs to complete this, and actually just 2 more Olafs because I have a Nico's help on the side waiting to go. You can see the immediate impact that Deathblade has as Olaf is able to tear through people with the Runan's Hurricane, doing additional damage to additional targets. He just has become phenomenally strong. Now, the second part of this build, the second important part, is building in Rakan. First, Rakan is a Sentinel, so you are getting that buff, but the real power, his ability, his ult, that makes the key. He launches a feather towards a target, dealing magic damage to the first enemy hit, and then heals everyone around him for a percentage of their missing health. In last season, I would use Pantheon with a redemption to help keep teammates alive. This season, I'm thinking Rakan can serve that purpose with his natural ult. You can see it in action here as Rakan does his ult, heals everyone around him, keeping them up and allowing the team to survive longer. Now, it doesn't necessarily always lead to a win because in this case, Olaf went down, but we are now just 1 Olaf away from a gold since we picked up a Nico's help before. Here, the recursive bow is the choice because we want to make a rapid fire cannon, not sure exactly who on yet. There is our final Olaf that we need, and an Irelia, which will help increase us on the Sentinel chart, which we're going to substitute her for Udyr because Udyr just isn't necessary, and then bang, bang, 3-star gold Olaf. We are off to the races at this point. You'll be able to see how it all plays together, at least this 2 parts of it. There is a 3rd part coming up here. As Rakan does his heal, Olaf picks up attack speed and continues to hit things and is able to get out of what seems to be an impossible situation where there was no chance for him to win. Let's look at it just one more time, how strong Olaf gets as he gets low. With the Deathblade increasing in power, he's gaining back more and more health each time from his attacks, keeping him up longer and keeping everything rolling. I grab a Negatron cloak here because it's really important to the third part of my plan, the third part of the trilogy, if you will, in this case, and that is this character right here, Galio, and let me explain why and how he works into this. First, he brings us up to the 6th Sentinel, but the most important part of this is going to be his ult. And the way Galio's ult work is that he creates an area around him for 2 seconds. You can see him doing it right now. And he is going to taunt everyone in that area to attack him. That means they're going to pull aggro off of Olaf. It's going to allow characters like Rakan to continue to do their damage and heal, and Olaf to continue to pick up additional damage with his Deathblade. Here, I grabbed the Jax because Jax has always been a part of any Skirmisher comp I've made. He's a really strong character, and we are only running 3 Skirmishers. That's to give Olaf just a little bit of an extra buff. Throw the rapid fire cannon onto Jax so he can work from the back line, bring everyone together for maximum effect. This way Rakan can keep the entire group healed. Galio, when he ults, can ultimately taunt as many people as possible, allowing Olaf to just rip away at anything getting in his way. Here they are, the 3 amigos together, and you can see Galio ulting, pulling everything off of Olaf, allowing Olaf the time to gain more strength and do more damage and ultimately win the fight. It's the 3 of them together that makes this comp work. Pulling Galio up to a 2-star/silver is going to make it even more powerful. What I'm really looking for now is an additional renewer to go into the comp, although I am not going to say no to some action, because he will just fit in as an additional Sentinel. It's a 7th Sentinel, so it's not getting us an additional buff, but action is just too fun to say to not put him in the build. However, what I would like to do is get a renewer so that Rakan can be casting more often and gaining some health when he's not doing his ult, because as you saw right there, Rakan went down fairly quickly, and he is key to keeping everyone alive. Without him, the team starts to fall apart, so I'm going to want to find a good renewer to work into this as well. Having picked up a 2nd Viego, I'm going to do something, well, I would probably never have done in the past, and that is say goodbye to Jax, because Viego with a rapid fire cannon is really strong, and I'm just 1 away from silver, so I know he is going to be able to carry the back end of the team. And you can see right here, he is stunning the right targets, he is hitting them, the rapid fire cannon allows him not to be CC'd, and the 3 amigos in the front, well, they are just doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Galio is taunting them, keeping them off Olaf, Rakan is doing his ult, keeping everyone healed, and Olaf is just, well, he's being Olaf. That's what Olaf does. I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to get a Gwen because she is pretty strong in this set. And as a legendary, it's always good to have one of them out. Unfortunately, I don't have another mystic that I'm pairing her with. But if I could get her to silver, that would be great. But in reality, I'm looking for a good renewer to put in, and if I could end up silvering up the Ivern, which I do, that's going to make a better choice, because the renewer buff will work well on Ivern and on Rakan, which will allow the entire comp to come together. Getting a 2-star Viego just pushes everything. Throw the Bloodthirster on him because that will work extra well along with the rapid fire cannon, enabling him to do a lot of damage from the back. Again, you can see the power of those 3 Brolofs right there as Galio taunts them and Olaf tears them apart. When he goes off on his own like this, he makes me a little bit nervous, but he comes right back into the fold where he's getting the support he needs to finish off the round with the top of the damage charts. It is now down to 2 of us left, and I need to just keep checking back and forth on positioning to make sure that I avoid the Zephyr they have on their Soraka in the back line. So it's time to play a little 3-card Monty and shift things around so that I have a chance of throwing them off. And as we can see, once they pop in, Soraka has moved over to the corner where I had Viego, but instead they take my action off the board. So we're without action for a moment, but that's okay. Everyone is doing their job. Olaf is taking enough out, and Galio is taunting things. However, they do go down a little earlier than I would have liked. But this is where the Sentinel shield really comes in handy, because you'll watch as action comes back from this, he gets granted the Sentinel shield right there, which gives him a huge buff to his attack speed and allows him to finish off the fight, but Olaf led the damage charts. Did I just discover a new potential build that can work? I don't know. As of when I record this video, it hasn't been released yet, but hopefully it's something cool that will work and you can use it. Hope you have an absolutely awesome day.